I'm going to teach you guys how you can make big money off of player props in college football. So let's get right into it. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have access to a couple websites that are going to be able to show you the top player that is going to be in FanDuel and DraftKings DFS lineups across the nation. All right, they are paid websites, so you're going to have to obviously pay to see this information. That information is not free. I've tried to look at multiple websites and there is none that offer it for free. So yes, there are paid subscription websites that give you that information, but we're gonna make money off it anyway, so it really doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to find the top player that is owned amongst all the DFS lineups in the nation. Now, that player could be a quarterback, receiver, or running back. Now, make sure that you're looking at the right player prop stat. If it's a quarterback, you're looking at the passing yards. Running back, you're looking at rushing yards. Receiving, you're looking at receiving yards. So make sure you got that ironed out first off. Now, once you find that top player, let's put a circle around him, all right? Because we're going to look a little bit further into that player. So let's say, for example, it's quarterback, all right? We're going to be looking at passing yards. So what you do is you're going to take that quarterback and we're going to look, if the season is just starting, we're going to look at the prior season. If the season is pretty much halfway through or a little bit more, we could look at the current season. But if they were on a different team the prior season, then we can't use those stats. All right, you can only use if they are on the same exact team that they play for. All right, because with the transfer portal in the college now, players are swapping all over the place to certain colleges. So make sure that they were on the same team if you're going to use those stats. All right, so let's say the season's just starting and we're going to look at the prior year. What you want to do is you want to pull up that prior year, all the statistics for that quarterback. We're mainly going to focus on the passing yards. Once you look at the passing yards, we're going to look and pull up in a different tab what his player prop over under on passing yards is going to be. All right, so let's say, for example, it's 285 yards. That's about an average passing yards could be for an over under. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take that, the over under, which for example would be 285. Now we're going to compare that to exactly how he has performed in the prior season. How many times did he go over that? How many times did he go under that? All right, so what we do is we're going to go through and you're going to mark off how many times he went over 285 yards. And once you go through that, you're going to get your probability on that statistic right there, just for that player prop for that certain amount of passing yards. Now, once you have did that, you're going to go and you're going to get his average passing yards per game. Now, if his average is, let's say, about 275, you went through and for 285, let's just say out of 12 games, he only went over it about 6 or 7 times, but he went over like 10 out of 12 times over 275, put a circle around that, all right? Because you're going to have to note that down. And that's the reason why you're going to see a minus 110 player prop is going to be probably about 10 or 15 yards above what his average is. All right, now once we have that information down, now what we want to do is look at the defense that he is playing. The defense that he is playing for that particular day that you're looking at that player prop. Now what we want is a defense, obviously, that is terrible at covering receivers and is terrible at defending the pass. All right, so what you're looking for is a defense that is not going to be in the top 100, all right, going against the pass. So you have to make sure of that, all right, because not every game, obviously, you're going to be betting the over here on a QB's passing yards. We have to pick and choose which one's going to give us the highest probability, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that defense is terrible at guarding the pass, is terrible at guarding the receivers, all right? Once you do that, then that lines up. Now, we're going to go to our sports book. Now you're going to look for the alternate numbers because the base number was 285 that they gave you. That will be your minus 110 number. That's not the number we're going to take. All right, we use that as a base for our statistics, but that's not the number we're going to bet. His average when you went through, let's say you got about 275. Well, we're going to buy down to get to that, all right, because we want to get a little bit under his average, because now what you're doing is you're setting yourself up with the highest probability play. All right, now this play is going to be probably minus 150, minus 160, minus 170, something up in that range, but probability of that play hitting is going to be much higher. The reason why is because now you're going to be getting him at under his average for a player prop, going against a defense that is terrible at guarding receivers, guarding the pass, and you just need him to get his average pretty much. Like I said, if his average is 275, then you're going to bet like the 275 to 270 range for over passing yards. It's that simple, guys. That's how you set yourself up for the highest probability shot. Now, I tell you this, and why alternate lines are so important is because that baseline that they would give you, let's say 285 at minus 110, sometimes it really does get that close, all right? And this quarterback might have 282 yards passing, and those who bet 285 over end up losing. But those who bet 275 over ended up winning. This happens, all right, all the time. That's why I try to tell you, it's a game of averages. Players, they just play out to their average. That's what they do normally. So you have to understand that if you are getting a great matchup for a quarterback and he just needs to get his average, the probability of that happening is way higher than him going above and beyond his average to get something that maybe he's only achieved 6 out of 12 games or 7 out of 12 games throughout the season. All right, so that's why it's important to buy the alternate number down. So once again, let's go through exactly how you're going to define this college football player prop and how you're going to make money off of it. Once again, you're going to find the number one player that's owned in DFS lineups across the nation. All right, once you do that, put a circle around him, write him down so that way you got that player. Next thing you want to do, pull up his stats. Make sure if the season just started, we're looking at last year's stats. Make sure he was on the same team, because that's important. Go through and compare with your sportsbook what their base number is. Their base number is 285. You write that down. How many times did he go over 285 throughout last season? If he went over 6 out of 12, 7 out of 12, write that down. Next thing you're going to do is take his average. Write his average down. All right, if his average is 275, you're going to write that down. See how many games he went over 275. And if that's his average, he should have went over that probably about 10 out of 12 games or whatnot. So you write that down as well. Once you do that, now you're going to look at the defense that he's playing. Defense that he's playing needs to not be in the top 100 at guarding the pass. All right, they can't be, because if they are, then odds are he could not get his average, and that could get you a loss. So make sure he's playing a bad defense. Once you do that, now we're going to alternate the line to go a little bit under what his average is. All right, if his average is 275, then we're betting his passing yards over 270 all the way up to that 275 mark. It's going to cost a little bit more, but the probability of you hitting that is going to be way, way higher than any other bet that you can grab probably on that slate. All right, and that right there will set yourself up to win a college football player prop week in and week out. All right, it's not that hard, guys. All right, and as long as you're staying disciplined with it and you're setting yourself up with the highest probability plays, then you are going to be successful long term. All right, it does not matter really what the odds are. You need to focus on the probability. Probability is what's going to make you win, not being scared to bet certain odds. Remember that. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.